It was a day like any other day at a seaside clothing store when a bookkeeper received an email from a vendor asking for payment. In the same manner she had done countless times before, she emailed the owner to ask for approval. The bookkeeper got a response from the owner via email saying, "Yes, go ahead and make the payment." Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The bookkeeper paid the vendor via wire transfer, as she usually did with these. She then received an email from the vendor. The wire transfer didn't go through. "Could you send the payment again?" the email read. Before sending the payment for a second time, she decided to check with the owner. Normally, there weren't any issues with sending wire transfers to vendors. The bookkeeper then picked up the phone. She called the owner and questioned, "Do you really want me to send this wire transfer again?" And the owner replied, "I don't know what you're talking about." That's when the panic set in. Fraudsters targeted the bookkeeper with phishing emails. She received fake emails from a vendor she trusted. The same cyber criminals replied to the emails from what appeared to be the owner's email address. She had been hacked. And now the owner knows the hackers had been inside of the store's systems, waiting and watching. They observed how the owner conducted business, how she communicated with her employees, and how she paid the vendors. They used that information to trick the bookkeeper and steal thousands of dollars from her businesses. This was a well-planned out cybersecurity attack. The bookkeeper had fallen victim. The owner contacted the bank and found out there was nothing they could do to get the money back. Since it was an authorized transaction, they could not reverse it. The bank did try to trace the wire transfer back to the fraudster's account, but it didn't exist anymore. Thousands of dollars were just gone.
Welcome everybody to our first episode of One Step Beyond Cyber. And today we are so happy to get this new podcast off the ground. And I am so happy to share the stage here with two incredible IT and cybersecurity experts, Tim Derrickson and Roman Stanton. Take it away, guys. What are we doing here?
Hey Scott, I appreciate you introducing us. I think we're going to have a great time here.
That's what I do.
We are really just excited to be out here, give all of our listeners, our watchers, our viewers, people in our heads, a time to reflect upon cyber. But also I want to say that everybody out there that they really need to pay attention, because this guy, Scott, has been running this business for over 35 years, 3 decades. He's been putting together this business of everything from VARs to retails to MSPs to securities. I mean, he's done a tremendous job.
That's good.
So I just wanted to say that please pay attention, especially to this next guy, Tim.
Yes, good.
I don't know. I think he's calling us old, Scott.
There was something in there, I'm not quite sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So, first episode, we're going to make this a nice open discussion, whether we're talking about business, technology, cybersecurity, the human element, which we're going to cover today, of what happens in security. So, let's talk about the human factor when it comes to cybersecurity.
Is that what we're talking about today?
I think that's what we're talking about today.
The human factor, so not Chat GBT?
Not yet. That'll be the next
Chat
one.
GBT, okay. So that's not human yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
No, that'll be 100% of data breaches will be Chat GPT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the Verizon report of 2022, they haven't come out with 2023 yet. They're saying that 82% of all data breaches have a human element.
82?
82%,
Yeah.
which is actually lower than I thought it would be. I figured it'd be closer to 90, but it's interesting because everybody always really hits on us as the human being in any cyber environment, any work environment, because we click on things, we open up things, we misconfigure things. So they say we're the weakest point. But I would also say that we're also the strongest point when
Absolutely.
we start working with training, making sure we understand what we're doing in our environment, and having a good corporate culture that supports what we're doing within the environment.
Wholeheartedly agree. I think that we, as people, since we are really more of staff in every company, we are the front line. Might be weak link, but we're front line. So kind of Scott, since you've been running a business for a while now, when you're thinking of 3 decades, as we think of cybersecurity, why do you think that we start with like your employees? Why do you want to put that first?
So, look, Tim's already mentioned probably the key point, so did you. So I'll just tag right on to it to look smart. The employees, the staff, they can either be your strongest defense or they can be your weakest link. And apparently 82% of the time,
It's your weakest link.
they're your weakest link. And so the key thing is going to be culture. I think we'll talk about that in a little bit, how to create that. But for sure, it starts and it ends with your front line. So you have to focus. What did you just say on the way in here? Didn't you just say one of our clients, names not to be mentioned, a decent size organization? What kind of passwords were they using?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Eight length, 8-character passwords with just numbers and letters.
Just some numbers and letters. How long would that take you to crack?
Under 20 minutes.
Under 20 minutes, folks. So if you have just numbers and just letters, give Tim a call.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll give you something to worry
Well,
about.
Tim will actually call you, actually. He has your password now.
And it is interesting. So we have to look at what they're now considering best practices, whether working with compliances or just cyber hygiene, right, is what we're calling it now. Making sure that you have longer passwords. I think
But they're a pain. Longer passwords are a pain, so why would I use them?
Not convenient.
Because it's
not convenient.
Because it goes from a couple of seconds to hack something to years.
But if I can't remember it, is it okay to use the same long password everywhere?
No. Well, if you yes. Just for use.
Hackers are listening. Yes, please.
Listening.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, obviously, we want to make sure that any site that you log into is a different password. And a lot of people are using password managers. Of course, then you have to worry about third-party stuff. But we're not covering that today.
Yeah,
But it is training your employees to use those password managers to make sure that they're changing their passwords, rotating passwords every at least 90 days.
Okay.
We've seen some of the companies do it every year, Roman. So, I mean, it really all depends.
It does, and it depends on a lot of different things. 1, policy, 2, culture, 3, your compliance if you actually have regulatory bodies. There's a lot of different things that it will depend on. One of those is going to be tools, and I kind of wanted to bring that up because it's an interesting topic. Now that we know that we got to stop doing this, we need to put in tools to help things automate. One of the things that Tim had mentioned is putting so much security ahead of people that they're going to find their ways around it, right? When you start doing that, when you start making those really long passwords, and am I going to remember it? No, I'm going to use my home computer to do work, and I'm going to get around these. So what kind of tools, or not really what kind, but when you implement tools in the business, Scott, do you look more for like, I'm going to do all internal, or I'm going to stop breaches, I'm going to do external tools, or just find something for clients? What do you do when you're looking?
So, my philosophy has always been practice what I preach. And since good cyber hygiene, as you call it, Tim, is really, unfortunately, what I dream about. I know, let's not go there. So,
at least they're clean jeans.
Yeah, they're very clean. So we start internally, and the reason I like to start internally is 2 reasons, and it's part of our philosophy, is that we are looking for best of breed tools. Now, you guys are on the team, right? And so we bring these things in, and do they all work out?
No,
absolutely not.
No. Does it drive our support ticket count up?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
So that's what we're all about. When I say our ticket count is that I want to eat the dog food first and make sure it works as described.
Good, we have catering coming.
Or better. Yeah, exactly. And so if we're protected, then we're actually doing a better job of protecting our clients.
I get
because we're gonna be the target, and if they can break into us, then that's dangerous. So,
right. And if we can stop them, that means we know we can.
Fort Knox,
stop our
baby.
clients.
Yeah, that's what we've got to be.
Yeah, I think that's one of these.
Yep.
Knock on wood type
Knock on wood
scenarios.
type of scenarios.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but on that note, Roman, how does compliance and network vulnerabilities weigh in here with employees?
Well, it's kind of nice because while most people, I'll be honest with you, Scott, most people are not compliant, or at least compliant as they really should be.
Right.
And everybody does have vulnerabilities. That's what we do. We work on clearing those vulnerabilities for you, plugging the holes in the dam. But the good thing about the compliance and when you do vulnerability scans is you start addressing those, and then you can start putting policies in place. When you have a policy in place, you can now make it a culture, right? Because now everybody can read it and say, hey, this is what we need to do because this is our policy. So utilization of compliances or frameworks for security really does help clients, people, businesses in general, because it will help them stay within something that they're looking for.
But you're bringing up a very important aspect because, is anyone ever fully compliant? Well, there might be. I mean, that's a hell of a goal to attain because you can get a stamp saying, I'm NIST CSF or whatever. I'm CMMC or whatever. I got this certification, but the very next day you could be out of compliance, right?
Absolutely.
So
ongoing is the key word.
Yeah, it's all one and done is what I was trying to say.
Cannot do that.
Yeah, and for another day, we also need to say that just because you're compliant doesn't mean you're secure.
Right.
That's a whole nother.
That's just
three podcasts.
But what compliance does do is help prevent any sort of lack of claims with an insurance company. So if you do have a policy and you are working toward compliance, the likelihood of a claim turned down is lowered.
It is lower. It also helps lower your monthly payments because you can now say, hey, look, this is what we have in place now. There are very few compliance police out there. There are some that are proactively coming after business.
Yeah.
Not in necessarily a bad way, but looking.
It always comes after.
Yeah.
That's the police.
But it always comes after is a big part of it. So, and that goes to artifacting, which is basically evidence for those out there. Evidence that on this day, it is the way we said it was. It might have changed, but you have an audit trail. So again, security is
we'll do a whole episode.
How do we make sure that we're training our employees, training our people, and making sure that they're following these policies that you're putting in place to make sure that? So how do you handle training?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking Scott. I didn't say Scott.
So that's a that's a layered approach. There's no one and done. It takes a while to create a culture of security. And I've been to many clients, and client after client, they'll tell me, how do you guys get your staff to care about security? They don't care about it, right? So we actually just have an internal sort of unofficial game where it's almost a badge of honor if you get caught. So we use artificial intelligence to set simulated phishing emails.
And some of them are so good.
And they're getting better. Yeah, they're getting better. So, and the way you can get really, anyway, I won't get into how you can get caught on these things, but it happens to the best of us. And our team, it just becomes like a badge of honor if you get caught, and you make it no big deal. You make it make it fun, and it just seems to work. So they're not like embarrassed by it.
Right. Yeah. I think you're absolutely right, and I think that it's also important to know that it has to come from the top down, right? Your management has to buy into this.
Oh yes, when I get caught, the people have just too much fun. There's little dances going on, and
there actually are. You just don't see them.
Oh
yeah. I remember when I first put it in there. We were like, "Hey, look, Kreisberg, we got him.
We got him." Yeah. Sorry.
But
that's what you do.
If management doesn't buy in, though, it's if we watch and see that you don't care, which you do care, and that you're not doing the same things that we're doing when we get caught, it makes us look at it differently.
Absolutely. But you do have to have the tools. It's a tools combo of the right technology, the right attitude, and making it fun.
Tim, for this, since we have the tools, we have compliances, we have everything. Are there really is it really a principle around this, or is there something that can be done?
If we follow the frameworks, which is what we do to make sure that we keep everything sane, and how we're training people. So we're going to go. Our framework, we use the CSF framework. So we're going to do identify. We're going to look at our environment, identify what's out there, do risk assessments. We're going to protect what we find that's important to us, critical data. and critical applications. Then we're going to try and detect what's going on out there to see if we can find anything. We detect something, we respond. After we respond, we recover. So it's a very straightforward process when someone clicks on that email that we have to follow.
Yeah, I like the fact that it is kind of it is a 1 through 5 process. Like, you can't just start out with, like, I'm just going to detect everything, because sure, you can. However, there might be things that you haven't identified on the network that are actually causing the problem.
Right.
Or, because we do have a lot of people that come in, I've been breached, or I've had an incident, or some sort of thing like that, and they expect us to start in the recover point. And
Right.
It's like, well, I would love to. We're going to get there, but we have to start identify your whole network first, because we don't know where they came in. If you don't know where they came in, you might not stop them the next time.
And if we're talking security in general, it might not be your network. It might be the front door. It might be the back door. It could be that someone let someone in. It could be someone came in when they weren't supposed to.
Right.
And they're using things. So information security in general, when we start talking even cybersecurity, has to do with the whole business. It's not just the network itself.
Yeah, and it's incremental.
Yeah.
It's just
yes.
incremental. So you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And so wherever you start, you're that much closer to being more secure. And I always say, one of my tenets in life is to always be learning.
Yeah.
So
important.
to me, I think business owners, CEOs, CFOs, CTOs, IT people, they should always be learning. Even if they're beyond brilliant and they know it all, there's probably something there that they could learn.
Yeah.
You put a guru in the room with me, they're not a guru. I'm not a guru.
Yeah, of course.
There's no such thing. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. So now that we've got all of this stuff kind of laid out for you, and we talked about the vulnerabilities and something to happen, and let's say that there was something to happen, and there is an incident.
Never happens.
It'll never happen. Don't worry. But if there is, just in case there was an incident that happened, I know that you guys have talked about it as far as the security level. I've kind of heard the conversations, but that's at a high level. Mm-hmm. So, Scott, why do you think it's important, or how would you relay this stuff down to the layperson, the employees out there, for your incident response plans? That way they know. Why is that important?
Well, first of all, they're not lay persons because they're the front line of defense. But anyway, it really starts again with that awareness of cyber hygiene. And so at our company, we're all about reporting early. It's almost like a medical condition, like
Absolutely.
People that don't ever get annual physicals or don't know, if they should have something checked out. Oh, it's just a little mold, it's no big deal, right? And it could have been handled there, right? So we're very big at our company that if you even think that there might be a chance, like I even send you emails going, hey man, I opened this, I don't, and you're like, yeah, no, it's fine, it's bad, just delete it, so. So just letting somebody know in the company that the right, the IT folks know that this is going on. Or I clicked on something. Hey, I was expecting an email from my bank. It looked like it was from my bank. I clicked on it, and weird stuff happened. So that's all right, no big deal. No. Forward that email. Open a ticket with your IT team. Let them know.
Yeah.
Because they want to jump on it.
Yeah, what's even more interesting, and Roman and I were at a client's the other day, and Roman brought this up, and it's not something I didn't think about, and that's the fact of you click on something, and now you have to go to the person that you don't like working with, or you don't want to deal with because they're difficult, and so you don't.
You're talking about the IT people?
I'm talking about, we'll say that a secretary clicks on something and goes, okay, I got to send money to someone, but I have to go talk to this person who I don't like dealing with because they're difficult. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to send the money.
Yeah.
And I never even thought of that portion of it, and the fact of that could happen. And
It does happen.
and that goes back to company culture and the fact of who you have in place.
That's culture.
That's a huge culture issue.
Regardless of differences, security is above all of those personality issues.
Yes.
All of the it's senior.
Right.
It is.
But honestly, and I know in our company, there is no one that I don't enjoy actually talking with that doesn't have to do with work, or if it has to do with work. And I think that everybody that I've come in contact with have that same feeling in our company. So I have a hard time seeing it.
Exactly.
So when Roman brought it up, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So, but that's definitely one of the ones.
It's a great one. You got to add that to the
Yeah.
training.
And the other one, of course, is, like you said, Scott, you're okay. If we click on something, we know we're not getting fired. And I think that's also important. And if you tell us soon enough, we can stop it.
Yeah.
Or we can at least back things up so we can limit the damage.
Yeah.
Or limit the impact of
Yeah.
whatever's coming into our
Absolutely.
systems.
100%. So that's great advice right there.
I agree.
All right. Well, I think that's what we're going to do today, right? We're trying to keep today very,
High level.
yeah. So,
All right. Well then, I agree. I don't think we have anything else to
Did you have anything else that you
belabor
wanted
on
to go
this.
for
Oh, no,
the
it's
human
for today,
aspect
for the
of,
human aspect.
yeah.
I got a lot I can
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
Be nice to people.
Be
Yeah.
nice. Be nice. That's a good one too.
It really is. It's social engineering at its finest, right? And it's like, I don't want to talk to that person, but I'm just going to do
Yeah.
this. I'll deal with the fallout. So.
All right. Well, good. So everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching our first episode. And we look forward to our next one. Do you guys have any closing comments?
We're just here to help and to educate. Anybody can send us an email at any time, and I'd be willing to definitely help if you're having an issue.
Any comment down below?
Comment down below. Absolutely.
Suggested topics?
Yeah, and this is a safe space, really. I mean, we're going to be talking about a lot of different topics that have to do with business, with cybersecurity, with whatever we actually,
Absolutely.
whatever Scott allows us to do.
You have
Roman?
full
And
range.
remember,
You have full
this,
range.
this episode brought to you by conjunctivitis.com, a site
That's
for
right.
sore eyes.
Yes.
No, just kidding. But no, thank you for watching. Little tech dad joke. And please comment and tune into the next one. We love it. We love it.
All right, guys. Thank you.